What is your business? What are the regulations for this country?
Are they dealing with corporates or investors? So I think it becomes easier if you're dealing with corporates.
Owners or whoever wants to set up a business here is that now you don't need a local sponsor.
So what is the kind of ROI, the return on investments, the ROE?
Investors, they will focus more on the secondary market.
You also feel the same that Dubai South, because the government is investing so much in that particular area.
The mainland is also a very good business now.
A lot of occupancy with commercial. That means there's a lot of demand, but there is less supply.
They separated this ownership with the free zone licenses.
Retails, etc., can only be leased there in Dubai Mall.
Originally, that was giving 100% ownership for the foreigners.
So you think that that's the new place to invest for investors looking for setting up businesses in Dubai? Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have with me one of the person I think I have watched his videos on Instagram and I found them so informative, and just out of curiosity I started watching his channel, and I thought yes, he's imparting so much of valuable content on the social media platforms along with a very good illustrative kind of videos. You will see it on the screen here. So with me today I have Pierre. Pierre is a commercial real estate expert, and that's what I want to know today from him, is because a lot of people talk about real estate, but I think there's less focus in the market about commercial real estate, whereas we have a very big economic boom here in UAE. So let's discuss with Pierre how and what the commercial real estate sector has for us.
Hi, Shireen. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it. So finally we meet, and very happy to be here and to discuss any questions you might have, because I think from your side of the story is the same question that the clients are asking. So it will be very
that's true.
educative today. Yeah.
That's true, Pierre. So I deal with a lot of business entrepreneur kind of people, especially coming to Dubai. And their first question is, after setup of business, where do we start our office space? Because you see, a lot of people, when they move to Dubai, the major reason is business, is work. So commercial space becomes a very important topic for us to discuss. I have some idea about it because I think there's a lot of leasehold and freehold, there's a lot of focus on leasehold in commercial. So there's less talk in general. When you search YouTube, when you search internet, it's less, information is less, and out there authentic information. I mean, there is information, there are people, but with the kind of resources and the insight you can give, I don't think it's possible.
So I think the most important to understand is that there's no information because people are charging for this. You will have lawyers, you will have business consultants, you will have company setup. If everything is online, then client can do it themselves. So that's why you don't really find a lot. What you find is very basic. The first point you need to explain to investors or company owners or whoever wants to set up a business here is that now you don't need a local sponsor, which was the case for most Arab countries in the past. And they separated this ownership with the free zone licenses. Originally, that was giving 100% ownership for the foreigners. And now, even on the mainland, you can open your business. So this is one point to clarify, because most people still believe you need a local sponsor and they are reluctant to come here thinking, oh, but I don't own my business, I don't control it. So this point is clarified. You can own your business 100%, even in real estate these days.
Yeah. And as we understand, the mainland company can do work in mainland, and the free zone mainland can do anywhere actually. The free zone can do restricted to that particular free zone. But we have interest of lot of people coming from the free zones wanting to setting up across Dubai. So what is your experience in this rapid transformation of many businesses opening? Which are the areas? Any insight that you can give?
So I mean, the clarity between the mainland and the free zone is a bit foggy now because they look very similar.
Yeah.
You could think of going free zone, but then the cost of operating is higher. Obviously, it's more recognized globally in terms of licenses, but the mainland is also a very good business now. So it really depends on your strategy, on if you have international clients or locals. The mainland can work everywhere. The free zone also now can work everywhere if they get approval from the ED. So they released, I think, this 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it was important to mention it. Obviously, what you need to understand is the properties. So there are two things in the commercial. First, the licenses. So this is if you want to run business. And then the properties, because you have commercial investors that are just there to invest in commercial properties. Most of the people, they think like elsewhere in the world, it's like, okay, I live, let's say in Dubai Marina. I want to work close by. I'll take an office in Dubai Marina, which is the wrong approach here. You need to first find out what is your business, what are the regulations for this country, and then find out or search which area allows that business to be worked with. So for example, to make it very simple, if you want to work in the media, you need to open a Media City license, which is under DDA. And then that license can only be used within the TCOM free zones. So if you go with, okay, I like this marina office and I want to do my media production company there, then you will have a problem. So first go with the license. The license will dictate which area you can go to. And then, as you said before, you will find out if you can buy it or only rent it. This is where the freehold, leasehold, or rent only comes in the picture.
Yeah.
So it's quite a long process. Don't think property first, think license first. And then obviously employees, because the visa are regulated by the size of the premises. So there's different things you need to know before going into, like most agents do. It's okay, this guy wants to buy this property or rent this property, but they did no due diligence on the company or the business. They don't know anything. They say, yeah, he sent me this one. He likes it. He wants to view and buy it. It doesn't work like this.
True, because so many times investors are also coming in for the commercial real estate. So what is the kind of ROI, the return on investments, the ROEs that you're looking at in commercial space?
So I think ROI is very difficult to explain, because obviously now we have almost full house in the rentals. It's very difficult to find good offices for rent, which was not the case 2-3 years back. You could pick any offices in Dubai and say,
in COVID, I think.
Yeah, just even after COVID still, you could go to any tower. You would have 20 options available, take whatever you want, and pressure the owner to give you best price, because it was a different market. Now it's the opposite. Whatever is there, if you don't take it, someone else will. So there is pressure on the tenant to finalize the deal. The rent went up. And because the rent went up, the price went up. So it's kind of following each other on the price per square foot / rent per square foot. I would say after service charges, probably you can reach 7-8%. Most clients, they come with unrealistic demands like 10-15%, which no one will sell. Because if they sell at higher price than what they bought for, and you're still making 10-15%, that means the owner is actually making 20% plus. So which business in the world give you 20% plus kind of safe, without the risk of losing everything tomorrow? So from that point of view, it's very difficult to reach more than 8%. Only if you go for industrial premises, such as labor camp, maybe some warehouses. But same, if the tenant goes, then you might have a building that is too specified for a specific industry, and then you have vacancy. So you have to take all this into consideration. But for offices, I would say around 8% is 8%. Something that you could find. Obviously, compared to residential, all the costs can be put on the tenant. So usually when you rent an apartment, the owner takes the rent, pays the service charges, and then calculates how much he's making. For the commercial, you can have a contract that say, okay, the rent per square foot is, let's say, 100 per square foot. I'm paying 20 dirham service charge per square foot. So it's 100 plus 20. So actually the tenant pays the service charge to the owner, which pays it to the owners association. So somehow you make net rent. You don't do gross rent like for the residential.
Okay. And when it comes to the particular areas, for example, that you specialize, I think you specialize as well in commercial, but specifically I see a lot about Burj Khalifa and the downtown area. So as per my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it can only be some retails, etc. can only be leased there in Dubai Mall.
Correct.
Okay.
So as you know, most of the developers in Dubai are the big ones are related to the government. So you could name Meras, Dubai Properties, Imar, Nakhil, etc. So all these guys, what they do is they develop an entire community. You must a project manager. And if you want to control the quality of your premises, you need to control the retail. Because if you retail your retails, then it's open business. So you could have no business or bad business or something that has nothing to do with the buildings. Yeah. So to kind of correct the mix, so the mix is like the different, you need a supermarket, you need a laundry, you need car rental. So you need one of each to make it successful. They never sell the retails. So they go under different divisions. So let's say MR properties develop the community, sell the properties. Then MR malls comes for the management of the malls. And then you have MR commercial that takes all the offices and all the retail. So they have different companies to manage all these places. And obviously when you come as a tenant, it's not like I like this space I want. So let's say there's a space available. I want a supermarket here. If there is already something that they have in mind, they will wait. They will keep it vacant till they have the project that they want for that specific unit. So it's not on, the retail is not on base. It's available. I have a project. They will release it to me. It's very, very competitive and very selective for the tenant.
Especially downtown?
Everywhere. Like you go to anywhere now, most of the malls are fully booked. You have waiting list, depends on your business. They will wish to have more business in the entertainment, all of this, but for food and beverage, it's very, very difficult to come with a new concept because, you know, we have so many different nationalities here that everyone wants to open a shop from his country. So during a long time, we had lots of European and American brands. And now we see an influx of Russian companies that want to open the restaurants that are in Russia here, and they struggle to find spaces. So either you go with buying a tenant out, what they call the key money. So you come and say, okay, I'll buy your business. Like they would come and buy your house, but they just technically buy the rental contract and then they will change the fit out and move in.
So, their own
business. So this is the only way, because to find something vacant that you like, then that is available, it's kind of impossible almost these days.
Wow.
So yeah, very, very, the tenant profile is very important these days.
Yeah. Do you also feel, as I read it, there's a lot of occupancy with commercial, and that means there's a lot of demand, but there is less supply?
Correct. So what I've been seeing, so I study a lot, as you see in the videos. I like to explain how things work. So for me, I've been here since 2015, which at that time, I think Dubai was pretty much unoccupied commercial-wise. This happened in 2007-8 when people were struggling, same as today. They had no spaces available. So people started to say, okay, we're going to develop commercial. Then the crisis happened and all these commercial building either they got delayed and finished later or got cancelled, which was the case for most of the business bay offices. And then by the time they were ended over in 2015, 14, etc., there were spaces but no company. So if you had a company at that time, you would rent for a price that today you don't even believe were possible. And then obviously after the COVID, we saw influx of population, and because these people came, they came and brought the business slightly after, but the business came. So, and then the government changed the rules, more licenses created, easiness of doing business, all of this, the banking system making it easier for the people to open a bank account also. So because of all this, and because of the rule that if you have a commercial license, you need a physical space, then we saw all these spaces being taken off. And once all of this is taken, even the bad buildings, you know, the one that nobody wants, even those ones are finding people, because before you could, for the same price, you could be anywhere. So you would say, okay, I'll take downtown because it's nice.
Yeah.
But now downtown is not affordable for most of these companies, and they will go in the outskirts because it's just not possible to stay there for just the image of, okay, I have an office in downtown. So yeah, it's the commercial properties are being launched slowly. Some developer launching here and there.
Launching luxury commercial also.
Yeah, but you know, luxury, off-plan, shell and core, nobody knows what's gonna be done after. Most of the people, from what I see, doing commercial, they are very rational. It's a mathematical question. It's not really about feelings. So buying luxury without really knowing what it is, and when you look at how much per square foot you have to pay, most people prefer to go to secondary and buy something that exists today. They know how many elevators, where are the parking, how the building works, all of this. Then going into, we don't know, and in 3-4 years, we don't know what is the market. So either someone buy it for himself, but investors, they will focus more on the secondary market where they know exactly the return today.
Okay. And when it comes to dealing with such kind of investors, usually commercial real estate consultants, are they dealing with corporates or investors? So I think it becomes easier if you're dealing with corporates.
A bit of both, I would say. The problem of the individual investors is, of course, you give them lots of knowledge for free and you don't control them. They could go and buy with anyone. They also listen to lots of people that don't know what they are talking about. So they will have a residential agent from years ago, and the guy tells them things that you don't even know where he finds those answers. Yeah. So this is all about gaining trust and building the rapport with the guy telling him, okay, you can buy what you want. I'm just here to help. If you don't buy, at least I did my work. I explained to you how it works. You want to believe me or not, it's a different situation. But the corporate are different. The corporate are very slow to take decisions. And most of them, they don't understand how fast Dubai is. So they will inquire about a property, do a viewing, then you go to different scale of approvals. And by the time they say, okay, we are willing to do a second viewing and start to negotiate, it's gone. And then you go again to zero. It's very difficult for them to give a deposit check or put an offer before all this chain of events happened. So the corporate are more difficult to deal with. That's why if you look on the way Dubai has been developed, most of the very big corporation, they go with the free zones, because in the free zone is also a property owner. So they will say, okay, we want to open, let's say 10,000 square foot in the MCC. The MCC will have a building where they have 10,000 square foot. So they do the licensing / the leasing. Because when you open the company, you need to first do a pre-approval for the license. And then the government will tell you, okay, to finish the license, you need an address. Yeah. That address needs to be according to where you want to open that company to get the HRE. And that's where some people struggle, because either they didn't know how much would be the rent and they end up paying a lot more than what they thought because they didn't do research. And people, some people, they just want to open the license and then they don't really care about the real estate. Yeah. So all these companies set up, open this, open that. And then it's a mess. So you get those clients after. But it's really about securing the space, because you have the problem of the corporate account for new companies. They will come and say, okay, I want to rent the space. Yeah. But they have pre-approval, but don't have the bank account, so they don't give the checks. So the owners that are, okay, I prefer to rent to whoever, then just pays me the same money. So it's not like where we are from, like from in Europe and you're from Canada, which is you will rather take a long-term tenant, which is a good profile corporation, maybe pay a bit less, but they will stay for long. Here, it's all about the money. Whoever pays first and pays the most gets the offices. They don't really check background check, all this. It's starting a bit, like credit history, all of this. You can check on the DLD now, but not many people know about all these services. So you don't really know the tenant. You just check the checks. If the check goes through, it's a good tenant. That they think like this here. It's interesting.
Yeah, and it's all a circle, right? It's like a circle. If somebody's stuck somewhere, then it comes back haunting to them. And I always tell my clients that this happens, right? So have a action plan and do reverse. Even I sometimes say that check the bank account, which will open the trading license bank, and then open that trading license. Because the bank account itself can be a hassle if not done right.
Correct. But back to the bank. Yeah. So if you want to explain to your audience, but there is a system on the REST application where you can do due diligence on the tenants. So you can do it on the residential and on the commercial. On the residential, you will put the Emirates ID of the tenant and you will see any problem with his bank account. If he's a bond check, anything, any cases, it will show. And for the companies, the trade license as well. Okay. So I'll tell you just one thing that happened, and it was important to know. One tenant, he was approaching a landlord to rent an office on Sheikh Zayed Road. He gave his credentials, he put his offer, okay. And the owner said, I cannot onboard that tenant. So we asked, why is that? The company, trade license, everything was okay. And they said in 2014, they bounced a check. And so we're like, yeah, but that's 10 years ago. Yeah, but because of this, it's a credit risk for us. So we asked the tenant, what's the story about this? Because, the tenant is not going to say, I've done all these bad things in my life, and then I still want to be a tenant. So he explained to us that he paid by transfer the rent and asked the landlord to hold the check. So basically return the check because I paid by transfer. However, the owner didn't hold the check and put it in the bank by mistake. Okay. So because of that, it was insufficient funds, and then the check bounced, which nobody went after. There was no case, no court, no nothing. But because of this, it got flagged by the bank. Yeah. And because of that, they couldn't get the office. So it's very important to check, I think, credit history from both sides.
Nice. That's a very interesting fact. Okay, so two particular areas in commercial that I feel are saying absolutely, of course, DIFC is one of them, but I feel that it's kind of becoming saturated with less space, but you can let me know more about it. But I help a lot of businesses start in DIFC. So I understand that DIFC demand is day by day it's increasing as people are becoming more aware. International businesses are coming, investors are coming. It's a secured investor friendly common law. So that's one of the major reasons. So how about DIFC? And also let me know about Expo, because Expo, the other day I had helped one client set up in Expo. Expo is also a free zone, so we helped them set up. But surprisingly, I realized now entire Expo is all about commercial, is only leasing. No, nothing you can buy there.
Correct. So let's start first with DFC. So as you saw in one of the videos, it's very limited area.
Very limited.
It's like an island in the middle of Dubai. If you want to understand, the laws are different.
But the feel is very good.
Yeah, it's very different laws. It's very congested traffic-wise. I think most of the people, the only thing they don't like about DFC is the access and the traffic. Back in the days, there were properties for sale. So they sold some plots to individual developers, such as Bodaman, Union Properties with Index, Park Towers with Damac. So you had few towers that you could buy. Most of the rest is either built by DFC and managed by DFC, or built by big corporations such as Al-Fatan, ICD, all of this, and then managed by DFC for the rent. So they control the market. Obviously, based on the quality of the tower, the price per square foot differs. So if you have clients that are just looking for, let's say, affordable rent, let's call it like this, they will go for Park Towers. So it's just, we are based in Dubai, but we never work from here. We're just traveling all the time. Then it's worth it. If you have client coming to the office, then you will go for premium properties, more like ICD Brookfield or the Gate Village, which is friendly, and all the restaurants are downstairs.
Yeah.
Obviously, the problem of the IFC is the incorporation of the licenses is a lot longer. They do a lot more due diligence.
Yes.
So it goes from 1 to, I've seen a tenant, they waited 2 years to get their license. So it's kind of,
especially the regulator.
Yeah. So if you go with the FSA regulation, it takes a lot more time.
Yes.
But then because it's the IFC doing it, they will always find you a space available to incorporate the license with Innovation Hub or with different business centers that they have. One thing to know in the IFC is the business centers system is not allowed like on the mainland or the free zones. So the only business center is managed by DFC. They didn't subcontract it to anyone else. So you cannot have small offices on the private sector. Obviously, they are building the DFC 2.0 within, I think by 2030 should be ongoing because the land has been repossessed. They removed the track. So now you can see things that are moving a bit there. We don't really know what's going to be built, probably low-rise buildings, same as the Gate Village, because they have the Zabil area, so no overlook on the palaces, etc. But this is a strategic location. And obviously with the extension of the World Trade Center to the Expo became kind of a point of interest for two reasons, because it's there, it's built already, so you can see what you get, and the potential of the airport coming next to it. So what I find interesting is most people saying Dubai is building an airport, but no, the airport is there since 2007. Yeah. So I flew from there a lot, so I know the airport is there. There's only one terminal. You don't really have a gate, so you have to walk to the airplane, etc. But the airport is there, it's operating. It was a lot more before COVID, and then they stopped. And the metro station is literally one metro station away from Expo. So the World Trade Center, as not many people know, will be demolished and moved to Expo by next year. So there will be no trade exhibition on the Trade Center in the near future. Everything is being built at the moment in Expo. And because of that, I don't know if you've been to Expo 2020.
Yes.
So in Expo 2020, you had countries that were capable of building their own pavilions, which was on the suburbs of the Expo. And in the middle of the Expo, there was like this, if you look at the Sheikh's symbol, these three fingers like this, there's something similar in the Expo with three wings.
Yes.
All these three wings have similar offices, G+2 and G+3 buildings. All shell and core at the moment because they were used on the ground floor for Expo and upstairs for some management office during Expo. After Expo finished, they kind of removed everything, started to demolish pavilion, reassembled in a way that it can become pedestrian friendly with the potential for the residential being built. And then they wanted to know what to do with these buildings. I know that at some point they were trying to sell some of the pavilions to private investors, but then the middle ones, they kept it for themselves. I heard they sold 2 or 3 to a developer recently. No, in the small buildings. Okay. If you go there, I went there 2 weeks ago. There's like a residential project, like hotel apartments in those small buildings, but the rents are available for rent directly from Expo, from 1,000 square feet to a full building, or 2 or 3, depends how big you are. At the moment, you have NG, which is there.
Yeah.
You have Siemens, which is there. DP World. So they have some,
Nestle.
they have some very big corporation that came, obviously at discounted rate in a way that because they are the first one and they bring lots of people there, it will attract food and beverage because that's missing there. It will attract services related to this, Desco, etc. And position of the metro, free parking, unlimited parking, which is something impossible to find these days in Dubai. And obviously the potential of everything that is coming. The trade center, the hotels are coming because they have Rove at the moment, but they will build more. As you said, Aldar and MR already has built a few things. The mall is built by MR and will be operated by MR. They have the Wassel Tower in the back with, that's why the volunteers were sleeping when the expo was there. So there is potential for that area, obviously, to grow. And connectivity for the investors internationally. So you have a port within 10 minutes drive. You have an airport within 5 minutes drive. Etihad Rail is not far as well. So it's like very, very interesting area logistic wise. So the only thing is free zone. So they regulate the activities. Lots of real estate people are saying I want to open there. Expo, they say no way. If we do real estate, then tomorrow we have Expo real estate. Like everyone will be there. So no,
right. Because already brokerages, I saw they're opening in there. In Expo itself. Because I feel Dubai South is now. Do you also feel the same that Dubai South, because the government is investing so much in that particular area, so you think that that's the new place to invest for investors looking for setting up businesses in Dubai?
But I don't know. I've sold properties in Dubai South when they originally relaunched, because I know they sold most of the plot in 2006-7 when they were calling it Aviation City. I sold a few apartments in the MAG project, which was MAG Boulevard, sold in 2014, delivered in 16 or 17, something like this, which at that time was just the only project there. Then Dubai South started to build. Of course, they've sold some plots to small developers, G+4, so very, very small buildings. It's nice, but it's not there. And most of the people who are going there, they will be working or living next to the airport for logistics reason. At the moment, the airport not being operational as they want it to be, and with lots of work being done in the next few years, at the moment, it's a place where you could park your money, but you need 10, 15 years to see the return on investment, which people in Dubai, they want money tomorrow. So it's very difficult to tell them, look, you will take this studio for, let's say, 400, 500,000. You will make 25, 30,000 rent maybe. And they're like, yeah, but this is 5%. And, they don't understand the potential that you could have in the future.
That's true.
And obviously on the other side, you have lots of projects. You have MR South, you have an Azizi project, you have Discovery Dunes, you have the golf course coming. So there's lots of things happening there.
Yeah.
And after that, Industrial City, and then it's Abu Dhabi. So it's super, super connected to the highway. Jebel Ali is more south towards the sea.
Yes.
But then you have Industrial City, which is another industrial area. So you have...
which city, sorry?
Industrial City.
So
you have DIP, which is Dubai Investment Park. Dubai. It's industrial and commercial a bit. Then you have this huge plot for what they call Madina Al-Qudra, Madina Al-Maktoum, sorry. And then after that, Industrial City. Okay. But all this is being developed. I think for your audience and for you, the best way to understand is if you go to Dubai South HQ, there is a huge master plan showing you how it's going to be when it's built. And that's the best way to understand. Because the plot is, when you fly above this, they have to build all of this. It's massive. Yeah. A lot of things to do.
And when it comes to this warehousing, so that's what some of the clients, they also have this question that we want a warehouse. So what is the dynamics of getting a warehouse in Dubai?
So obviously location is important.
Yes.
I think like everyone, you've been going to Al Quoz recently. It's just a nightmare. To go inside is okay, but to go out, it's congestion and very complicated. So it depends on your activity, if you need the road or not. What we see in the trend for the warehouse is most of the people cannot afford offices. So they will take an office within a warehouse. So they will make like a kind of a commercial warehouse instead of industrial, put some AC and it will be open space, nice. So lots of people are doing this. It's like a trendy industrial style office. One thing to know for the warehouses is you cannot buy them unless if you're a local owner. So they are available only on leasehold. I think it's important to remind people what's the difference between freehold and leasehold.
Yes.
Because most people don't know.
Yeah.
So freehold means you own it forever, whoever the owner is. You have restriction on freehold based on nationality. So you have freehold for GCC, and which is called the non-designated. So freehold non-designated is only for the 6 passport of the GCC.
Okay.
And then you have freehold designated, which is freehold for every passport in the world, inclusive of the 6 GCC. That's one part. The second one is leasehold. Leasehold will be you basically lease the land without ownership for a certain time that can be renewed. Leasehold start from 1 year to 99 years. Obviously, the problem of this is that at the end of the leasehold, there's still an option for the owner of the land, which is usually a master owner. So they will divide the parcels and rent them one by one. They could repossess the land and do something else with it. The reason why they do it is because only on industrial land or some commercial like Silicon Oasis, they think that maybe the city will move in the future, or because of they built a lot and all this industrial related for construction will have to disappear because we don't need that much. They want to repossess the land and do something else with it. We see it happening in Al Quoz, where they remove some industrial to do residential and to do some more services related industries and push all the dirty business, such as cemetery and construction and all this out of the city. So this is because they learn the way they learn from other countries. And where I'm from, for example, a city is built on, you have a huge factory, you have a church, and you have like the main square. Then the city builds around it like a snail. All the people, usually they will work at the factory and then go home.
Go home.
If the factory closes, what's happening? You have this usually polluted soil that is there. And because it's privately owned, the owner is not willing to sell unless someone's give him good price. So you end up with this property sitting in the middle of the city, which is usually inconvenient, could be dirty, could be anything risky.
Polluting, yeah.
And nobody wants to buy it. Because of this, you get stuck. What they do here, they learn. They say, okay, this guy, we don't give him the land. He can do his business. We make money. He makes money. Everyone happy. But after some time, if we want to repossess this land and give it to someone else or do something else with it, we have this option. This is why they've done the leasehold, which I think is very good for the industrial area. So always check what's the status. One more thing for the industrial tenant. When you take a property for rent, you take it from a landlord that is on leasehold. So for example, if you look at DIP, Dubai Investment Park got a lease from the government for a certain time for that whole plot. Then they gave it on leasehold parcel per parcel on 30 years, 99 years, depends on the things, for some owners. Those owners, then they will build a compound, let's say with 10 small warehouses, and they will rent to you, to me, and we are actually subtenant. So we are the tenant of the tenant.
Yes.
So because of this, the government impose a tax on the rent, which is called the sublease tax, which is basically saying, I give you a plot at discounted price, and you're making money on me. Because you make money on me, the Ajari that's registered needs to pay tax. So for example, in DIP, the tax is 15% of the rent. So if you rent for 1 million, you will have to pay 150,000 to DIP for government tax.
That's one time?
Yeah, one time per year. So every year you have to pay the tax. Okay. Most people same. The agent, they will lease the warehouse. The guy will go to DIP to register a Ajari and this is tax. You say, no, I pay tax, I pay VAT. No, this different tax. But some agents don't explain it like this.
Yeah.
So it's very important because VAT, you can, it's plus minus some, so you can somehow get it back. But the tax is tax, so this is important to know.
Okay. And for the 99, for example, it's a 99-year-old lease and I am a subtenant coming third time, maybe fourth time. I'm a fourth-time subtenant. So will I get it for the balance period or will I get it for the entire 99?
No, you buy what's remaining.
What's remaining?
Yeah. So when sometimes you will go online, this is where it gets confusing. You will see a warehouse for sale. That warehouse for sale is you buy the building. You don't buy the land.
Yeah.
So you buy the building and you will continue the land that has been done for that building particularly. So if you buy it after 20 years, you have 79 years less. So obviously the peak of the property in terms of price is the longer the contract is.
Yes.
Because you have uncertainty. If you buy it 5 years from the line, you don't know if it's going to renew. When they renew, it's good. You continue, you renegotiate the rent maybe, and then you continue for another 99 years with the possibility to sell at any time. The problem is if they don't renew, then whatever is there, it's theirs. Of course, if you have a house, no, you're not going to remove the screws, put it in the truck and put it somewhere else. It's not going to happen like this. So this is what's important to know. What's the risk in terms of the business line?
Right. So you talk about risk, and I also feel that I myself, when I started my business here in Dubai, I rented a office in Business Bay, and I still don't want to move from that office. So do you also realize the trend that tenants like me or other business owners don't want to move, and that's a very secure point for commercial investors because the tenants, they're long term.
Correct. Depends which side of the story. If you're the owner, you just want your tenant to move because you probably pay below the market. This is the situation these days.
Doesn't it increase every year?
So you have the index. Obviously, the index is following up the trends. But if you increase 20% and the market continues to increase, then you're still below the market. So what we see is, of course, some owners are giving crazy increase, which has nothing to do with the index. And unfortunately, lots of the tenants still don't know that this is regulated. So they get a notice saying the rent is now 50% more. They say, okay, and they sign. So instead of going online and do the calculation with the REST application again, where you put your details and it tells you what the owner is capable to increase on that within the 90 days. It's also important. Some people, they get 10 days notice and they just pay. They don't think. So that's one point. Obviously, most of the rents that we see these days are old rent. If the owner is okay, is not selling, is fine. It's easy money, knows the tenant. There's no bonds check. There's trust. They can maybe do transfer. We have some tenants that don't even have checks. They just transfer every time there is a transfer to be made because there's this trust built between the tenant and the landlord. From your perspective, also the people, they know you at that address, which is important. It's usually the address itself is valued because
it's very important.
If you change, they go to the old address, the new tenant say, why are you coming? They move, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's very difficult. Cost of moving as well. Probably your employees, if they got used to, okay, they have a parking space, they use the metro at a certain time, it's convenient from their house. And tomorrow you tell them now we move to In Batuta, they're going to say no, you know?
So and sometimes the office becomes so lucky for you that you just don't want to move. You know?
And then you just like your building, you have your day-to-day stuff, you get the coffee downstairs. So for this reason, people don't really move. Most of the people, why they move, either because they got sent the notice. So you can send a notice to your tenant, I'm selling the office vacant or whatever reasons. So selling vacant or moving myself, or I'm just doing a refurbishment and I will sell later. So for this reason, the landlord can give you notice, but then he cannot rent. And then you would have to move. That could be one option. The second option is the rent becomes too expensive for your business. It doesn't make sense to stay in that location that you like. And then you compromise on something, which is you compromise on the quality of work compared to the rent, which is what most people are trying to do at the moment. Because even in Business Bay, the rent are super, super high. And the value for money is questionable sometimes. You know, is it worth really to pay that much to be there? So this is what we see.
And for Dubai as a whole, do you see that there's a commercial boom coming in specifically now?
So obviously, the boom is very easy to explain. It's offer and demand. The offer is limited. The demand is super high, increase every day. Offer is not really increasing. They have plans to build, but same. It's not like a residential where you will buy something in a way to maybe flip it, rent it, move it there later. When you have a commercial need, you need it today. You don't need it in 3 years without even knowing what the market will be in 3 years. So the problem is the same because this offer is not available today. The price goes up. And then what we see in terms of development, most of the big developer, they don't sell. Before, you would have offices from MR for sale. Some other ones would probably try to sell as well, to buy properties as well. So now what they do is they go to the bank. It's okay. We'll build this tower. We'll get 10% return on it. And they get the loan from the bank. They don't have to sell. They don't need this. Only few developers, they have lands that are available for commercial, such as Omniad did. And they're selling offices, but very rarely. What we see in terms of offices that is being sold at the moment, you have some offices in Motor City, some offices in JVC. There were some in Business Bay, but the rest is all secondary market. And what we get as an interest is all these people that are coming to Dubai. They expect Dubai to be everything new. It's like ready into 3 years, 2020 style, whatever, contemporary. When it comes to the offices, you show them buildings that are kind of new, which are from 2015-16, which were the latest phase of the bulk of offices. And they look at this and they say, this is middle-aged property. I don't want this. I want something new.
New.
But it doesn't exist. They say, already in 6 months. Same, it doesn't exist. So there's like this, the demand that is in the market doesn't correspond to the offer. So you're not going to upsell something. If you have someone who say, okay, I want a penthouse, you could sell him a villa.
Yeah.
For an office, if the location, the price, and the size he wants is not available, it's done. He's not going to buy anything.
Yeah.
It's very different mind. It's okay, I'll continue to rent. Whenever something comes, I'll buy. It's very different.
So before we wrap up, Pierre, I would like to ask you, what are your 4 or 5 maybe key takeaways that you would like to give for commercial real estate owners? What can be the pain points? What can be the, how they can overcome, and why commercial over residential could be also?
Okay, so first the type of profile. From my experience, most of the people who buy commercial, they have experience in residential, and then they move the ladder up. You rarely have someone that never bought any property in his life and come to the market and say, okay, I want to buy an office. This doesn't exist. They will be owners of something residential, but they never start with the commercial. That's one point. Which profile are you talking to? Because most of the people you talk to, they are very, I would say, they are like shark real estate investor. They know the laws. They know what they want. They are very stubborn on the price. They negotiate a lot. So it's not like this is available, take it or leave it. They will put an offer. They will negotiate. It's never a straightforward deal, unless there is a urgency in it. That's so the first thing is this. Then this profile, you need to find out who they are. What we see in Dubai compared to outside, most of the investors will be individual investors. Because you always have this mentality that because it's commercial, you need to buy with a commercial company. Here, you can buy under personal name, that's fine. Commercial companies can buy in Dubai if they are based in Dubai. So if you come with a company from anywhere in the world, you have to set up a sister company in Dubai to be able to buy. You can either buy with your own company, so your trading company will be allowed to buy, or you can buy with a holding company, which will be in Javza or in RAK or maybe in ADGM, which is just holding company. To go back to the DIFC, one of the reasons the DIFC is booming as well is because they allowed company to do asset management. Yeah. So one fund will buy and manage from Dubai, and before they had the risk because they didn't want the law locally. So because of the common law of the UK, they like to go to Dubai, so they open in Dubai and then they buy properties in Dubai with that company. So that's something interesting to know. So the second pinpoint is who is the buyer? Is it company or is it individual? Individual is very straightforward. Company, you need to attest all the documents. You need to everything on time, blah, blah, blah. So there's lots of restrictions on this, more difficult. The first thing is obviously what they want to buy. Commercial has different properties. So you'll have hotel rooms, hotel apartments, offices, retails, warehouses, labor camp, land. So hospital, malls, schools. So, it's not only offices. Like I have so many requests, people, because, if you're residential and you sell, I don't know, 1 bedroom, then you get clients for 1 bedroom. The problem of commercial is because it's such a vast market and not many people are experienced. Every time they get a request of whatever, before even qualifying the request, they say, I need school to buy. They don't even know what the clients, they heard, I'm looking to open a school in Dubai. So you have to do so much due diligence and consultancy for free to this client just to explain if they can or cannot do. Yeah. This is the third pin. The third pin is due diligence on the request. So many requests end up, you put it in the drawer because it's a request that will never happen. Never. Because the client expects you to do everything for him. You like this concept that the agent is, okay, private guide, you have to pick them up from the airport, explain them how it works, show them everything, open the company for them, do the paper for them. They do nothing. And they expect you to do all of this for free. And then when it's time to pay commission, they negotiate. No, this client, they are not the good client. The people that are good client, they respect you and they say, okay, I see you do a lot more work than the other agent. You take time for me. You explain me things. These people, they respect you. So get respect from your clients, because most of them, they take you for a ride for
True.
experience, or they are agents, or this is very, very
That's true.
competitive market. So be careful on who you're dealing with. And obviously the last one is the budget, because most of the people, they have no clue. They'll tell you, I want this in downtown, and you tell them the price. Say, oh, no, this is above my budget. So try to find out what they know about the market in terms of the prices, to know if the request that they have matches what they want, because that's the first thing to tell them. Don't show them things without knowing if they can pay for it.
Yeah.
Because if they cannot, you just waste your time. So this is the thing. And explain urgency of the market, as we said before. When you tell them, are you ready to buy? Because whatever you see today, you need to buy today or tomorrow. Put an offer and lock it, because otherwise, if it's on the market, we have so many agents in the market. The owners get bombarded by the cold calling still, even if it's illegal, on selling this, that. So every time there's a client, agent, they don't even bother finding out online what's available, try to go to the agent who knows the property more, and they will call the owner direct. But the problem of these commercial owners, they usually work with agents because they don't have time for these people. So they get frustrated. And from time to time, one good agent will close the deal on the phone because he knows how to talk to them, even if it was listed online. So this is the thing, is trust agent on the commercial more, because you're going to save time.
Yeah.
It's not about money. It's just about closing the deal. If you expect to close the deal without knowing anything, better to give 50% away and let the agent do the deal for you instead of bringing home zero. So this is what we see as well.
Yeah, those are insightful points.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And lastly, before I let you go, I want to know, how did you start your beautiful, illustrative, and very interesting page?
So it's
and where do you find those points? Also, I want to know.
So it's kind of an interesting story. So obviously the name Better Call Pierre comes from Better Call Saul, which is like the kind of the dirty lawyer in Breaking Bad. So long time back, it was in 2015. And at that time, it was kind of the start of the social media, real estate people. They were trying to stay away from the company and put themselves as a brand. So obviously to do that, you need a name.
Yeah.
And you always have Mr. Downtown, Mr. This, Miss blah, 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 off plan. And I was like, yeah, but for me, I want something that has nothing to do with real estate. Because if I get stuck in real estate, if I grow a brand, then I cannot do anything, and I'm stuck in that pattern. So I found this Better Call Pierre, and I was okay, it's nice, blah, blah, blah. I opened the real estate with the same name. So all this is done. And I was not really using it. So I had a website for 8 years. I was doing a bit on LinkedIn, but not much. Everything was under personal name. And I always have this problem of, okay, but what's the difference between this page and me? I can put this on my name. Why do I need the page? And I've met two people that pushed me to do the social media, because they went on viewings with me and they were saying, you give so much knowledge that the client is listening to you, but nobody's taking notes. So they learn, but they learn too much almost. So we need to find a way to share this knowledge that it stays for free forever,
Yeah.
It's not that I want to charge or do anything with it. It's just because I know it. And since people don't know or might be interested in knowing about this, I'm trying to do it in a constructive and instructive way, but on a small format. Not those YouTube video, 20 minutes, this, that. So it's something very simple. You go somewhere, you show it from the eyes that someone could look at. It's okay, with the finger like this. So
and the blocks that red and green.
Yeah, exactly. So we do the highlight on the video. So because of this, you show and explain things. And obviously, the social media, it's always two versions. Either you put too much of yourself, so people get views because they are good looking, or they show some good looking house, and then they get views. But when you see them in the real life, you kind of disappointed, because it's all show online, everything is good, but then when you go to a real estate launch, or you feel like you're not really meeting the same person you saw online. Where for me, I'm just showing what I know, explaining, and I think giving good knowledge that the market. I get so many comments and private messages saying, people, it's good, finally it's refreshing, we see something that is nice. Different. And we look every time there's new video, we know we're going to learn something, and I'm not selling anything. So you could do on my page, I don't sell anything. I show different aspects of Dubai. And this is what I like to explain. on the commercial more, obviously, but even on the residential, people are asking me, but how come you know all of this if you do commercial? I'm like, commercial is related. They are both combined. If the commercial guy, he wants to buy a house, so if you don't know, then he's like, yeah, you're real estate, you're supposed to know everything. So this is how I see things. Don't get in your own box and try to learn as much as you can. And then it started to grow and getting good views and getting leads, and it's very nice.
Has it got business also for you?
Yeah, business is coming there, but it's the same. For me, I don't do it for the business.
Yes. Of
I
course
really do it to just share what I know. Every time I see something interesting, I want to share it, and this is like credibility in the market. So
yes,
that's how
it's
it
true.
works.
When you actually a good salesperson is somebody who's not selling.
Yeah.
Is because somebody who's trying to sell is intimidating for me.
Yeah, or you buy, like they say, you buy from someone you like.
Yes,
And
you trust, you like.
Unfortunately, I mean, we never know the exact number of agents in the market, but people pretending to sell things in real estate, they will go to all these sales technique meetings and all this and learn all these brochures, but them as a person, you don't have affect for them.
Yes.
It's just a robot, Everyone is the same, everyone is doing the same. And for me, I go in viewing, sometimes you like in polo and shorts, and the people, they appreciate you because you come as you are. You're not trying to overdress and take a better car. You're not trying to impress anyone. People, they want to buy from you because what's important is here.
Yes.
And the way you say it. If you speak, as I see on most of the things that I hear, is everyone has the same speech for the same thing. No one is trying to be different or unique. Kind of, unique in a way that you have your style.
Yes.
And
original.
Yeah, everyone is the same, Like they call you and say, do you want to buy? Do you want to rent? It's not, do you have any properties? What do you like? They don't build any personal relationship.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean,
and this profession is very relationship centric. Even for me, it's so relationship centric. I get most of my work is referral based, and it's all about relationships.
And sales take time.
It takes times.
You still meet people that say, I went to the mall and I bought an apartment and I don't know how they got me. So sometimes it works, but most of the people, you tell them something, they will go online, check if it's true. They will call everyone around them, check if it's true. So you cannot just expect to say something and the guy will say, oh, great, I buy. No, it doesn't work like this.
Yes.
So whatever you say, either they will say, this guy, he gave me so much that nobody knows what he knows. So I have to go with him. Because if you do background check, I have some owners, they still call residential agent to do the market price for their offices. So it's kind of interesting when you have a clash with the owner saying the price is this much. And they say, yeah, but my agent told me double the price. And then you gave them a 2-page of Excel file saying, okay, these are the price. And then they like you because you debating with them and you're explaining in a professional way that they are relying on false information, which is all about the agent having listings online. And this agent, they look online and say, okay, I have this pipeline of, 10 properties. And when I sell all of them, I make 5 million. But no, if the price is wrong, you will never sell them.
Yes.
And in this market, it's competitive. And we on the price tag, we can see now that the sellers are asking too much. Whatever got sold. And then you always have this owner that say, my office is better or my retail is better, so it's worth more. And you have this discrepancy between what people are willing to pay and what people are willing to get. And you get no deal. Before it was the opposite. It's the tenant, they were willing to pay a lot less. Now it's different. It's the buyers, they are not willing to buy overpriced things. So.
Of course. And why should they?
Yeah, but they don't have much choice. So they end up buying if they don't have time. But otherwise they negotiate.
So thank you, Pierre. Thank you for coming over today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all the information that you've given us. It's actually very much helpful for me as well. And I hope if anybody has any questions, they can put it down in the comment section. They can reach out to Pierre and we'll share the link in the description box. Thank you for watching today and do subscribe.
Thank you.
Thank you.